entity, public official involved. It's important that federal funds are withheld from the entity that makes the dangerous decision to allow dangerous illegal immigrants to walk free rather than turning them over to Department of Homeland Security. Second, we've seen the willingness of jurisdictions to comply with immigration detainers decrease in recent years due to litigation pursued by the ACLU. We know dozens of jurisdictions that want to cooperate and were cooperating, but became sanctuary cities in reaction to these lawsuits. Our legislation deals with this threat head-on. It grants local law enforcement the clear authority to always comply with ICE detainers. However, it's important to note we have been very careful to protect individual rights and have preserved an individual's right to sue for a violation of their civil or constitutional rights. But if the problem was with the detainer, then the individual will sue ICE and not the local law enforcement officials. The third and final part of this legislation deals directly with those who continue to cross our border illegally, and it establishes Kate's Law, appropriately named after Catherine Steinle, who I mentioned earlier. Kate's Law increases mandatory minimum sentence requirements for people who continue to cross the border illegally. Kate's Law will increase the maximum penalty for illegal re-entry from 2 years to 5 years. It also creates a maximum penalty of 10 years for illegal immigrants who have been denied admission, excluded, deported, or removed 3 or more times, and then illegally re-enter the country. In order to ensure appropriate treatment of criminal illegal immigrants, Kate's Law creates a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years for any illegal immigrant who illegally re-enters the country and has been convicted of an aggravated felony prior to removal, or has been previously convicted twice of illegal re-entry. Right now, there are nearly 170,000 convicted criminal aliens who have been ordered deported but remain at large in our country. This is a direct result of non-enforcement policies and failed leadership. Last year, ICE responded to a request disclosing that it released 169 convicted illegals from over 130 zip codes in 2013. At least 2 of the zip codes mentioned are in Louisiana, Kenner and Baton Rouge, and dangerous criminals were released through the South Louisiana Detention Center. This year alone, ICE reported releasing 30,558 unique criminal illegal immigrants from their custody. Some of the crimes committed by these criminal aliens include arson, assault, burglary, kidnapping, larceny, robbery, sexual assault, drunk driving, weapons offenses, and 20 other serious crimes. Mr. President, why would we ever want to provide safe harbor to these people? That's what sanctuary cities are doing. Mr. President, this legislation is supported by a wide range of organizations to crack down on this problem. The Remembrance Project, Numbers USA, the Federation for American Immigration Reform, the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association, the International Union of Police Associations, AFL-CIO, the National Association of Police Organizations, the National Sheriff's Association, America First Latino, and letters from the McCann, Rosenberg, Ronnebeck, Oliver, and Wilkerson families, all of whom tragically had had family members murdered by illegal aliens. And I would ask unanimous consent to include their letters of support in the record.
Without objection.
Mr. President, in closing, I refuse to simply stand by and reward jurisdictions around the country with federal funding, with taxpayer funds, when they're in clear violation of the law and are actively making our communities more dangerous rather than safer. I've offered similar versions of this legislation many times in the past. We cannot wait any longer to tackle this problem head on. While President Obama continues to let the world know that he will not be enforcing the current immigration laws or taking action against these jurisdictions, We here in Congress have an absolute duty to act otherwise. I believe this legislation will absolutely benefit all Americans by keeping us safe here at home. I strongly urge all of our colleagues to support it in votes tomorrow on the Senate floor. Thank you very much, Mr. President, and I recognize the absence of a quorum.